Well, to South Africa, where a scandal continues to damage the president, Cyril Ramaphosa. He's been under pressure to resign over a so-called Farmgate affair. It centres on accusations that he concealed millions of dollars inside sofas at his private game farm and covered up its subsequent theft. Well, now a businessman has told Sky News he paid $500,000 to buy 20 buffalo from Mr. Ramaphosa's farm, but he had no idea who the animals belonged to. The plot thickens. Well, John Steenhuisen, the federal leader of South Africa's opposition party, the Democratic Alliance, joins me now. Very good evening to you, Mr. Steenhuisen. Well, let's not get too much into the detail here, but does it look as if the president is fighting for his political life?
Yeah, absolutely. I think the president's in a very difficult position. I think he's in a position where there are many, many unanswered questions that still remain around how the dollars arrived in South Africa, how they ended up in his couch, and why 2 years after the transaction, the buffalo purchaser has neither the buffalo nor a reimbursement. So all of these questions now hanging over President Ramaphosa in South Africa.
And what of the parliamentary inquiry and its thoroughness? Do you feel that it got to the bottom? I mean, because it does sound immensely complicated with a lot of people saying different things.
Yeah. Well, we haven't had a parliamentary inquiry yet. What we've had is a precursor to a parliamentary inquiry where an independent panel of 2 retired judges and a person with a legal background have examined the facts. They've taken the president's submission, and they have produced a report that says the president has a case to answer, and it should now move to the next stage, which will be a full-blown parliamentary inquiry. And obviously, the president and his party are trying everything they can to avoid that taking place. But that vote will take place tomorrow in Parliament in a full sitting, where we will decide whether that report then goes for a full parliamentary inquiry. At the moment, it simply required this independent panel of judges to determine whether there was a primary case for the president to answer. And they have returned in the affirmative. It's up to Parliament to now decide whether that proceeds to a full-blown parliamentary inquiry with a far wider scope, and of course the opportunity to call witnesses and subpoena documentation, which would be crucial to getting to the bottom of what really happened here.
And the irony of all these allegations swirling around the president are, of course, and tell us about it, Mr. Steenhuisen, is that Cyril Ramaphosa was meant to come in and sort out corruption.
Well, correct. And that's the ultimate irony. This is a man who cast his entire election campaign on being what he called the new dawn for South Africa, a post-corruption, post-maladministration, post-theft environment from his predecessor, Jacob Zuma, but now finds himself, much like the former president who he deposed, subject to the same internecine fights within his own party, but also the same scandals that dogged the former president. And obviously this is it's not a great day for South Africa, and it's certainly not something we're celebrating, but there is a sense of irony that the man who began his career on this cleaning up and cleaning out has now been hoisted by the petard of his own behavior.
Mr. Steenhuisen, good talking to you. Thank you very much indeed. John Steenhuisen there, the leader of the opposition.